Yes.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video done by Equine Mastery. So I have with me today the one and only Mathilda Karlsson. Thank you Mathilda for meeting me today, especially in person.
Thank you.
After quite some time, I think.
Yeah.
Since the last time I saw you.
I think it's exactly 2 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm so happy that I get to meet you today and talk about everything we love, which is horses, which is the equestrian world, and also a little bit of a few moments with horses and what we like to do, especially with them. So first, more than anything, I want to know what it's like for you to work with a horse like Chopin, because everyone in Sri Lanka, I would say, absolutely loves that horse. I do personally.
I do too.
He's such a beautiful horse. And what is it like to be with him, just to compete with him even, and just spend your casual days with him as a partner and a friend?
And I mean, I'm really, really lucky, and I'm so blessed to have a partner and a horse like Chopin. I think everyone just thinks that their horse or their pet or their dog is the best. But I have many horses, and I have had many horses in the past, but never anyone have been like Chopin. It's not just about his quality as a jumping horse. He is, he's a big black breeding stallion. You will you will expect him to be, like a kind of a wild animal. He's so powerful, but he's the kindest horse in the world. He's kind of a lazy horse. He sleeps a lot. He sleeps like 80% of the day. He's just sleeping. He eats a lot. He loves food, and he's kind of like me. But no, he's the kindest horse. You could definitely put a child on him. And he at home he's a little bored. He walks really slow, and and then he just transforms. When you take him to the show, he just transforms to a totally different horse. He loves the sport just as much as I do. Because when you enter the ring, you stay there. Before you go in the entry, and you stay there, and you can really feel his heart start pumping. And he transformed to a totally different horse, from being like a slow, lazy, boring horse almost. He transforms to a superstar. He gets this power, and he's just so amazing in the ring. He's so focused. He's so much fun, and this energy that he gives is insane. Yeah.
So you told me that you actually brought up Chopin. So can you tell me that story? Because that is something which I find incredible. Like, for you to know him from such a young age, and now you've taken him to the international arena. So what has it been like?
I mean, it's very special, and I don't think that happens that often, because Chopin was actually born at my place. I was there when he was born, and I think he's the only Olympic horse that the rider actually bred himself and was there when they were born. I have been with him for his whole life. He never had a different rider. He never knew any other stable than my stable. And I think that's what bonds us even deeper and a little bit extra, because he doesn't know anything else. So he thinks that I am the best rider in the world, because he has had to compare with. So that makes it very special that he has such a trust in me. It's just
and that's the most important thing, to have that trust.
Of course, it's everything. If you don't trust your horse, if the horse doesn't trust the rider, you can never perform in that level.
So what is the idea behind Chopin's name, Chopin VA?
To be totally honest, it was a mistake.
Okay.
I had a really good horse named Katje.
Okay.
And I wanted one that was named Chopin, like the watches and the brands and the jewelry
right,
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But the office mixed it up, so it became Chopin, which is a very famous piano player.
Exactly, musician.
So that was fine, you know. We didn't know when he was born that he was going to be an Olympic horse. If I would have known, maybe I would have changed the name. But you know,
I personally think it's a beautiful name for him.
Me too. Now he's
like owning it, you know.
He does.
Some way, he
of
does.
course, yeah. And we always knew that he was special, and the name. I think it doesn't matter, you know. His presence is the one that speaks for him.
Exactly. Taking you back to your career in riding and all that, how did you start liking horses? Like, what made you want to, oh, I want to try this, I want to be around horses? Because all of us equestrians have a very, very funny story somewhere where we see a pony or we see a horse and then we just get, like they say, the horse bug. And then it'll never leave you.
Exactly.
So what was that moment which you realized that you want to do this?
Well, I think, you know, growing up in Sweden, where equestrian is the second biggest sport, it's just a different equestrian culture that we have, because we have riding schools everywhere. Exactly. And kids do go to riding schools not because of the horses, because of their friends and to meet up after school. And so did I, but you know, my friends, they dropped out of the riding when they got other interests, boyfriends, school, whatever, and I just fell in love. I fell in love with the horses, and I knew already there that my life would be with horses. I never ever thought that I would become an international show jumper or qualifying and doing the Olympics. I mean, never ever, but I knew that my life would surround around horses, and I really think that is the key to being successful, that the love for the horses comes first. And then the love for the sport develops.
Exactly, that is very important.
It is, because we are nothing without our horses, and our main job as a rider is not to ride. It's to make sure that the horses are sound and happy and willing to perform.
Exactly.
And this is our biggest challenge.
With us.
But with us, exactly, and keeping them sound is our biggest challenge, and not to have riding skills. So many people can ride well, and have good horses, but it's just to have this extra bond with your horse that makes the difference.
Yeah, that is very true. So what makes you think a horse is special? You know, because lots of people, I mean, personally, when I get this question, where people are like, why horses, right?
Yeah.
I mean, out of all the other animals, why horses in specific? So what do you have to say to that? Why do you think horses are special?
Because I think they doesn't know how powerful they are. They are, you know, Chopin is almost 800 kilos and he's 178 centimeters tall. He's massive. And I don't think he knows. And horses in general are such a pleaser. They just want to do right. When they do something that is not correct, or they are being a little aggressive or whatever, it's mostly just because they are misunderstood. So I think in general horses are just pleasers. They want to do right, and when they do something wrong, I think it's because they are misunderstood. They don't know what we want, but if you give them clear directions and you teach them what you want from them, they just want to do right. You can really feel that you know, to punish a horse mostly doesn't bring anything. But to give them a pat and tell them that you like them and that they're doing something right, that would just make their brain understand that this is what she wants from me, and then they learn so much quicker.
Oh yeah,
and I just really think that is fascinating. A big horse that could be so dangerous, actually.
That's true.
It's just the kindest animal in the world. Like, it's just so nice.
Yeah, and I wish more people actually see that, because lots of people are afraid. That's their first, that's their first impression of a horse. Oh, it's so huge.
Yeah.
They don't realize how gentle they are.
Exactly, and then sometimes, because they don't know how big they are, they look a little bit like everywhere. I think this can be a little intimidating for people that is not used to horses, but I can just say that I think more people should involve in horses, and they will be happily surprised what nice animals they are.
Definitely. What is it like for you, like your normal routine, like your daily routine as an athlete? right? Because you're so blessed to be able to incorporate this in your career, right? So what is it like for people who are interested to know, what is it like for in the life of an equestrian athlete?
I think the life can be different from people to people, like from riders to riders. I personally think it's very, very important to stay fit. I mean, obviously the athletes is our horses. They are the ones that have a very strict training. We do the training program like very, very serious with our horses, but not very much for ourselves.
Yes,
but I think it's very important to also stay fit and try to be the best that I can be to support my horse. And I know that I'm a little bit in a disadvantage as a rider because of my height. I'm very small and I'm very light, which you would think, if you don't know the equestrian, you would think that is because racing horses and jockeys, I will be perfect as a jockey. But I did choose show jumping, and it is a little bit that disadvantage because you need power to control this big animal. And body strength, I think that's and balance that is the most important. But I always loved a challenge, and I think that is maybe what makes me a good person and a good rider and successful, is that I'm good in seeking answers to questions. And I always choose my horses that suited me, that was maybe a little bit more sensitive and a little bit quicker and a little bit lighter. So it's always a solution to every problem.
That's amazing. So what is it like in your stables back at home? So how many horses do you have, and what is it like would you like to go through their names with us and tell us what they're like to even handle?
Well, I have a lot of horses in my stable, but I have about 14 horses that my team take care of, that I am in charge of riding. I'm in charge of the whole stable, obviously, but that is like a little bit like my part. And the most important horses at the moment of the older ones is obviously Apollonia. She's she's the granny in the stable. She's now 18, which will be her last competition year. It's quite rare to have a horse jumping on that level when they are 18. But she's super sound, and she's very fit. I do only take her when I feel like she's in a good shape, and I don't put her in too many competitions. I often take her and she do 1 or 2 classes a week, not more anymore. But I'm really sure that she will tell me when it's time, when she wants to retire, and she have definitely not giving me that feeling yet, because she's on top of her game. She loves going to the show still. She still jumps like a young horse. Like, she's so fit and so powerful still. I think it would be a shame when she's so fit to retire her already. So we will see this year. I think I'm gonna keep her going as long as she feels sound and happy. And Chopin, of course, but we have been talking about him a lot. And then I have my other Grand Prix horse back in running. She had operation in the mid 2020. She got injured in USA in Florida when I was there, and then we choose to operate her. We didn't have to, but because of COVID, a lot of horse shows was cancelled. I said, okay, we're gonna take this year to operate her, and she's back jumping. And I'm so excited because she's very special. Next to Chopin, she's the most quality horse that I have of the older ones, and she already proved herself. I jumped the Global Champions Tour final with her as she was only 9 years old at that time. She's 11 now, and she's a big help for Chopin to take the pressure away. She can also jump a lot of big classes to just ease his performance a little bit. And then I have Danessa, which was always my upcoming star because of the COVID.
I love these names, by the way.
Oh yeah, really? Yeah, she's beautiful, and she's a chestnut, and she's a little different than the rest because she's very, very light, very tall. She's the upcoming star. She's still not on a 5-star level, but I hope that end of this year she will definitely perform, and jumping some 5-star shows and classes. And then of course I have some really interesting young horses. I think that's very important to bring them up.
Exactly.
Because both Sarah and Chopin I have bred myself.
Yes.
And I have had them since they were foals, and they're my 2 best Grand Prix horses that I ever had. So it just kind of proves that it is important to have them young. You don't need to breed them yourself, but to have them young helps.
There's a different special connection there.
It definitely is. You know, also Sarah, she has so much trust in me, and she's so sensitive. She doesn't like flying. She's not like Chopin. You know, Chopin is not afraid of anything. He's just so relaxed, and he loves flying. He loves attention. He loves camera. She's more delicate. She's a little bit anxious. She's a lot of blood. She's very sensitive. So to have her trusting me is much more work.
Yeah.
But because we have this bond as well, and I have had her for so long, she's just been amazing. And then the young ones coming up, which is very important. Yeah.
So wow, you must be having such a lot of work on your plate, right?
I know. I work, as I said, I work out in the morning.
Yeah.
Always, or at least once a day for like 45 minutes, an hour. I have my personal trainer. She keeps me really fit, so she's amazing.
That's great.
And then I try to ride as much as I can. I love riding. That is the main thing that I want to do all day. I cannot, I cannot get enough of riding.
Definitely.
I love it. I could do it all day, but unfortunately, this is a very expensive sport, unfortunately, and it takes a lot of work with the sponsors, and also I need to work a little bit too.
Yes.
So I try to ride in the morning as much as I can. Mostly it's the 5-6 horses I manage to ride, which is good. And then I have really good riders and grooms to take care of the horses the rest of the day.
Okay, so that's wow, that's amazing. Also, what did it feel like for you to represent Sri Lanka at the Olympics?
It was insane. It was such an honor for me, really, from the bottom of my heart. I could not imagine better support than I got from Sri Lanka and from all the people from the NOC, from the Sri Lankan Federation. The response on social media was enormous, and it really warms my heart to read all these amazing messages. Obviously, it didn't go as planned. It wasn't my plan to end the games like this, but it is an experience. We're gonna take this back home, which we did, and it will help us for all the upcoming championships that we're gonna do. But the response, I didn't get one bad text message or on social media. It was just message of love, of support and proudness. And I don't think that it's many nations that support their athletes like Sri Lanka have done to me. It's been unbelievable, and thank you so much for everyone that have reached out.
I'm just so proud of you and Chopin, honestly.
Yeah, it's so nice.
So there are a lot of young athletes who are actually coming up in Sri Lanka. It's so nice to see. And it doesn't always have to be in competitive terms, but they're just being involved with horses and all. So what do you have as maybe some advice or something you can give to them for them to be involved more in the equestrian movement? Because lots of people, even me personally, they've come and asked me whether they can be equine lawyers, whether they can be equine veterinarians. So do you have, as an athlete, do you have some advice for them?
I think, just to go with the passion, because when you do what you love, it's going to be successful. Because then you have this extra energy to just push yourself a little harder. And as you say, you don't need to be a top sports equestrian rider. It's so many other parts that is important in equestrian and in the horse world. To be a blacksmith is super important. Being a veterinarian is, it's so important to have the health of the horses in well care. And teacher and all these kind of things. It's a lot of road, and just as I said, go with your passion and be willing to work really hard, because every road to be successful is stony and it's hard. It's up and down, and just keep believing in yourself and keep going. And what I always say, I think it's really important to always not to be afraid to ask for help. Because I didn't come from horsey family at all, and I didn't. Obviously, they were a very loving family, and they took very good care of me. But they didn't support me like financially in the sport, because also they don't have the knowledge and they don't know. And and I always asked for help. I always asked owners to support me, and I found people that have made my dreams coming true. I never thought that I would be where I am today, but it's just because I have people around me, sponsors, horse owners, friends, family that supported me. And I think that's important. You don't need to do everything yourself.
For sure. And I have one more final question for you. So within the equestrian movement, right, what do you think something in which we can improve or we can change? Because there are a lot of things which are going on in the equestrian movement, good and bad. But what do you think you feel is something significant in which you want to like make an impact or change?
In Sri Lanka or in general?
In general, yeah.
Well, I think we are going in a very good direction because the sport develops in a way that, as I said, the love for the horses and the welfare of the horses need to be in the center. Because otherwise we cannot do this delicate sport when it have turned out to become now. And that's important. Like the old-fashioned way is not the way you ride anymore. You know, you need to take such a good care of your horses to have them able to perform. So I think that is a very good thing. And if you see the athletes or the riders today, they do take very good care of themselves. They look after themselves. You know, they don't drink too much. They don't smoke too much. Because the old-fashioned riders, it was a different time and a different way of riding a little bit. So that's good. That's how it should develop. But they were maybe a little overweight. They didn't look like athletes. And that's not the way it looks like now. The top of the top ranking in the world now, they are all really sporty, athletic
as well as the horses.
As well as the horses, you know. So you know, to be on top of your game, to be the best you can be. It's not just about the horses anymore. It's also about the riders and staying fit, staying healthy, and take care of your horses.
Thank you so much, Mathilda.
Thank you.
It was such an amazing evening to speak to you. And I actually hope you had a great time coming this time and visiting Sri Lanka.
I did. Actually, it was different from the other because the last two times I kind of went as a tourist and I was only here for holiday. This time I actually got to meet people that I know that I met before, and it's a little bit different atmosphere. I'm actually people knows me now. They know what I do.
It feels different now.
It feels different, but it's nice because now this time I got to interact. Before I was looking from the outside in. You know, I saw Sri Lanka maybe as not my country. You know, like a country I visit. And now I feel like I'm a part, I'm integrating much more in the country, which is nice, you know.
Which
now
is great, exactly.
I'm
You're a part of the family now.
Exactly. That's what it feels like. I meet people that I met in Tokyo or I have had interviews with or something, and we meet up and I know the people, it's different. It feels like home now, a little bit.
It is, That's great.
Nice.
So thank you so much, Mathilda, for speaking to us today and for being a part of Equine Mastery's video.
It was a pleasure.
And I wish you all the best and Chopin and all your beautiful horses.
Thank you.
Thank you for everyone who's watching as well. And
bye.
To everyone. Bye.
Stutti, that's what I learned today.
Stutti.